with us as well. What's quantum physics and metaphysics and how they relate is an article that's being done, A Portal to Ascension, and they do beautiful artwork and all that. So we'd like to have a club of artists and authors and people that want to speak, event planners, and a professional directory of people that we can trust, because you know what? The more we're growing in cyberspace, it's harder and harder to find information. And Google's not going to be the only one, and Facebook's not going to be the only one, and people don't realize they're just giving away all their mana or all their energy and stuff out there, and we want to help people. So think about being an author with your own life story. Think about your spiritual path and where you are now. And also, we're also helping with science, technology, energy, and math and engineering, and bringing you together in what we're doing in consciousness and what you need in order to be healthier in integrative medicine and how we can all help each other. But you can go to the ACOassociation.com and see what part of the world and what part of reality you're in. And we also have the UFO Secret Space and UFO Association. So I'm going to offer administration and a place to keep our articles and our books for a while. I've been doing it for years and years. And I've got some old directories in my blog spot, and I can pull them up. But, Bill, what's your next book? Are you working on it now for 2019? What's your new passion for another spiritual path, or what are you thinking about these days?
Actually, I'm seriously looking at one of my books that I've been working on for quite some time that is going to be more, I guess, in alignment with what you talk about on some of your other shows about UFOs, about the strange and difficult to explain stuff of life, or what some people call Fortean, or the fringe kind of stuff. Excuse me. And so
that's intriguing to me. I like the show Supernatural. Dean, these two brothers that go around and look into all the strange and weird things or demons or whatever out there, sort of a paranormal quest in life. But you're writing, we can always look in LinkedIn at people that produce shows. They're always looking for different things that they want to write and produce. But now we're going into video television, and there's so many networks out there for YouTube channels and putting it straight out there. So you may want to be thinking about how you do movie scores and how people start with ideas and put them in a PowerPoint or in a book, and you see so many movies that they've taken from the book, right, Bill? So many were authors, weren't they? Philip K. Dick.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So, are you going to write something like the one you were telling me about? Maybe you can do it in episodes, or think of them as like 125 pages or less. Do episodes like on Star Trek or something. But you were helping do some books from back. I guess they're in reality now, but it seems like they're from your past lives or for some other planet, right? Some sci-fi stuff.
Oh yeah, we've got our science fiction that my friend David and I are writing together, and that we'll certainly be continuing with that project, and hopefully next year will be when we get the first of those novels out. But as far as the nonfiction or speculative fiction or speculative nonfiction, this stuff I want to call it reality is not what you think. That's the title. That's the proposed title at this point. And in it, I'm going to be bringing back to life many articles that I had written back at Tryon that I was telling you about. Like, for instance, one of the chapters will be devoted to the so-called Fermi paradox, which is a paradox that Enrique Fermi, a nuclear physicist, who was one of Stanton Friedman's teachers, we talked about that recently. He proposed the question, says, okay, considering the size of the universe and considering how long it's been around, why aren't the extraterrestrials already here? And of course, the problem with that question is it assumes that they're not. But in the article, I'll look at all the different possibilities various theories about what I call problems with Fermi paradox and possible solutions to those problems. And then there will be a chapter devoted to the disclosure movement and also what we call the self-disclosure movement. And then also things about extraterrestrials. What is it that forms the basis of them in our mind? Where does the idea even come from? And a question about, are UFOs actually of extraterrestrial origin, or are they possibly of Earth origin, or a combination of both? So we'll look at those ideas. And I think we've talked about the Brookings report also back in 1960. There was a report that the Brookings Institute put out to help the folks at NASA, giving them advice, I guess you might say, in which they actually proposed that if, when we go to the moon or when we go to other planets in the solar system, we have a defined artifact, archaeological or whatever, that would suggest, that something had been built there by extraterrestrials, that they were proposing that it should be kept a secret from the public. So I talk about that and about how that notion, that necessity that the Brookings people felt was a thing. I feel like that particular advice has become obsolete. The people have become much more acclimated to the notion. I think we can handle it now. Perhaps it's true that back in 1960 maybe we couldn't have handled it, but I think we can now. I think that's not a problem like the War of the Worlds radio broadcast back in 1938. That was part of their basis, that created a panic. But
the War of the Worlds, yeah.
That particular broadcast was about them attacking the Earth, so of course it created a panic. If the information is released carefully, not in any way relating to an idea that they're attacking us, then I do believe that we can handle it with relative ease. Finding ancient archaeology on the moon, that shouldn't frighten anyone. That should, in fact, excite people. It certainly would excite me, but, I see no problem with it. And there shouldn't be a problem with it. So I talk about those things in my chapter on Brookings Report, Obsolete. There's a lot of things going on here in this future book. That
I like your idea of Fermi paradox, and he died back 1954 or something, I think, when I was two or three. But the thing is, that word, because it's after an Italian guy that did. What did he discover, Fermi?
He was working.
Do you remember?
He was actually very instrumental in the development of nuclear energy.
Okay.
Part of a team, you might say, who put together our first nuclear reactors. And unfortunately, back then, at that time, we didn't know just how much shielding was necessary, and he, among others, was exposed to far too much radiation, and he ultimately died of cancer. But,
I want to ask you about, of course, we only got a few minutes here. We've got 5 minutes or less. So basically, there's NASA's terrestrial planet finder. So I still watch NASA and the Arecibo radio telescope. But how do they say that? Radio telescope, Arecibo anyway, folks. But, maybe contact Jodie Foster. But there's great movies out there, and let us know, if you will, what you're interested in us sharing in our group, and you can join us and send your information to TJ Morris Agency at gmail.com, because I'm helping people become better, or I would think are more productive as entrepreneurs. And ACO Association.com, read the articles and bylaws for different things we have, and just let me know who you are. And social media is out there free, so we're discovering different ways to communicate with each other. And basically, American Communications Online is any way that you can communicate online. So I made it real simple. And UFOs, aliens, paranormal, phenomenology, esotericism, spirituality, these are all big thoughts in various groups, and people are chatting in face groups. And I have UFO Secret Space. Be sure and join that. And we have the Galaxy, UFOgalaxy.com, UFO Association. And I've got to get better at putting all these together and making sure that you have a way. But most people are just free social media, and not reading much anymore. So we want to at least help our people. And some people that are into different tag words, niche genres, ufology and spirituality are two big ones that we work together, metaphysics. And hopefully we're going to be having other things. I'm going to be speaking on UFOs, and then the portal, Stargate, and ET disclosure. Those are three separate things, or three things together. And so, Bill, get you together some things you want to speak on and do your research, and use the APA, American Psychological Association publication manual. You can pick up. I've got the 5th edition. I don't know what the newest one is. I'll have to look it up on the internet. But, get back with me, Bill, and weekly we'll hopefully get this. I want to grow this group of people so we can help them to at least do what we've done, and maybe find you in Memphis and have your monthly, help. And we have some people that need to write books, and they need help. Ken Johnston needs a beta group to check his latest book. He found a lot of edit things that need to be checked. So we need to have our own, I guess, online beta group, just send each other and help each other as a team. What do you think? You think we could do something like that to help people we like?
Absolutely. There's a lot of tools available online to help young writers get started. Even at Amazon, what now used to be CreateSpace, but now it's all through Amazon Kindle. They have what you would call templates of exactly the structure, the components, the parts of a book. There's basically, every book comes in 3 parts. The beginning is all of the before material, the stuff that comes ahead of the actual book, like table of contents, acknowledgments, title page, all that kind of stuff. Dedications, another one of those. And then you got the main body, the main book itself. And then you have the after stuff, which includes the bibliography, resources, sources of your things you're quoting, that kind of stuff, and various other little parts. And, of course, the last part of it being, other things written by the same author. So all of this, you can find that template at Amazon that actually just shows you the entire structure. And all you basically got to do then is just fill it in with your stuff. Just take that template, put in your title, your chapter titles and all that, and all the body of information that goes in the book itself, and so forth. So they're basically like filling in the blanks, so to speak. Of course, it's not entirely that simple, but it gives you a good place to start. You're not just staring at a blank page, wondering, what am I going to type now? You've got a structure you can work with, and then build on.
Well, we're at the end, so we've got to run now. But people, look up your Amazon account, make sure you've got one, and look for. I guess we'll come back next week for our podcasting, and I've been listing us in podcasting directories. But iTunes is the big one, so if you want a podcast, get that going. But other than that, come and guess with the last hour, Bill, we may start, allowing members of our club to come on and share. So be sure and join ACOClub.com. We pay for this service, and it's not real expensive, but it's worth it, and we've been doing it for years just to keep the word out that we're not alone in the universe. So many levels of learning. But, Bill, think of something else to talk about next week, or let me know if you've got any ideas, but we'll start getting our new articles out there, and I'll get back in touch with you, Bill, on some things we need to do, because we need to keep up with the people that started around the time we do, and put them in our articles and our websites out there, and then put our books out there. And I'll use you with your books and